Welcome back to Old School Sports and our Out of the Park Baseball 26 series, Rescue the Rockies. And the 2028 season is finally underway. Lost earlier on opening day today, 3-2 to the division rival Arizona Diamondbacks. A couple of key goals with ownership this season as we head into the final year of our contract with the Rockies. They want us to reach the playoffs for a third straight season, and they also want us to get the minor league system ranked into the top six. Fortunately, by virtue of a signing we made about a month and a half ago of Jordan Contreras, who's the number 9 prospect in all of baseball, although he'll be spending this year at our international complex. That has been a big step in the right direction. Hopefully we'll do well in the draft this year as well, although we lost a third-round pick as compensation for signing Pablo Lopez as a free agent. And we won't be picking until quite late in the draft this year. We're actually going to be 32nd overall with our first pick, and then we'll be near the end of round 2 as well before we miss out on that third-round pick. So going to really have to hope that those 2 premium picks that we do have this year we can make the most of in an effort to hopefully get Mr. Monfort happy with how we've performed, and hopefully also convince him to give us an extension so we can continue trying to rescue these Rockies. And we dropped our second game of the year against the Diamondbacks as well, so as we get to April 1st, 2 games left in Arizona, a fair amount of divisional games this first month of the season for us. We'll be having 3 more against Arizona at home. We've also got home and away series with San Diego later in the month. We're going to be on the road in San Francisco for 4 games at the middle of the month. And then we'll finish off with 3 more at home against the Diamondbacks. So although we don't have the Dodgers, who are the team that we just edged out in the division last year, and they were predicted to beat us in the division this year, we'll have plenty of games against everyone else in the division over the next few weeks. And we ended up taking the second 2 games against Arizona, so we even to a 2-2 split with them over the first 4 of the season. We've also signed a player to an extension, Gregory Soto, making $5 million this year, final year of his contract with us at 33 years old, coming off of a year where he had a 4.12 ERA. Wasn't looking for quite as much money, so we signed him to an extension for next year at $2.5 million, and that team options at that same number in the future. He is still a guy who is a pretty effective left-handed specialist, so feel that he can hopefully continue to be productive for us going forward. And unfortunately, this 2028 season is off to a pretty mediocre start for our Rockies. 7-9 record in our first 16 games. We're already 3.5 games behind both the Dodgers and the Giants in the division, also trailing the Padres and only half a game ahead of the last place Diamondbacks. Chandler Simpson on his way to a third straight year, leading the league in steals. Led the AL 2 years ago in Texas, led the National League last year with our Rockies, and he's already got 9 steals here as of April 17th. He's the only member of our Rockies team that's near the top of the leaderboard right now in anything. I'll take a quick look at our big new addition from this past offseason, Gus Nieves, and he is only 12 for his first 54, so batting just .222 with 15 strikeouts. That's the negative news. The positive news is he does have 4 homers and 14 ribbies, so a 110 WRC plus, slightly above replacement level for our new corner outfielder / cleanup hitter. And we continue to be a win one, lose one kind of team as we get to the end of the month of April. 13-15 record, still 4th place, still 3.5 back had gotten up to 500 before losing the final 2 games of the month against the Diamondbacks. Vinny Pasquantino off to a good start this year, hitting .337, second in the National League in hitting. Simpson already with 20 steals, although he is going to be dealing with a strained hammy for the next couple of weeks, which will probably curtail his running a little bit. Take a first look at team statistics for this 2028 season. The offense going pretty well, ranked 4th in the National League in runs scored and in the top handful of teams in most offensive categories. Pitching, not quite as good, 10th in the National League in runs allowed, and we rank as low as 13th in hits allowed and 14th in walks allowed, 13th in strikeouts. After that 0-2 start in March, we were a 500 team in April. At 13-15, we are 2 games below where Pythagorean expectations suggest we should be. No surprise for a 26-year-old that's now 27 that we're paying $31 million a year. But Gus Nieves, your National League Rookie of the Month, finished the month with a .294 average, 7 homers and 23 ribbies. Also had 8 doubles, 946 OPS, 140 WRC plus, and a 0.8 WAR. So Nieves is off to a pretty solid start with us here in Colorado. Hopefully it will result in some more wins in May compared to the number of W's we put up in the month of June. Taking a look at the schedule for this upcoming month of April, we've got 3 at home now against the division rival Giants. Finally, we'll get to face the Dodgers. In the middle of the month, we've got 4 games at home against them, and then we'll also have 3 on the road against the Dodgers at the end of May. Other than that, a lot of games against other National League teams and a 2-game series in Seattle thrown in as well. And as we mentioned, Mr. Simpson dealing with a strained groin. We're going to try to have him play through it, which may not be unwise. But Braden Net with a strained shoulder that's going to be having a moderate impact on throwing for the next 3 weeks. He's 2-0 with a 2.37 ERA for us, so having a nice year again as a long reliever for us. But with the injury to him, we are going to call Jamie Arnold back up. He had not been good in Albuquerque, 2-2 record, but a 10.48 ERA. Allowed 8 home runs and 13 walks in just 22 1/3 innings. But that AAA Albuquerque in the Pacific Coast League tends to have some pretty flawed pitching statistics. You can see he had ERAs around 7, and this year 10.5 in 3 stints in AAA, whereas he had a 3.60 ERA with us last year in a small sample size in Colorado. I don't think he's ever going to become the pitcher we hoped he might when we picked him 4th overall, but we'll continue to give him a little more playing time at the major league level. Taking a look at our pitching staff, Pablo Lopez, Aaron Ashby, and Bobby Miller all off to very slow starts. Dre Jameson is pitching well out of the pen, so certainly have him available to put into a spot in the rotation if those other guys continue to struggle as starters for us. And a rough stretch for our Rockies to begin the month, swept by both San Francisco and Philadelphia, so that now puts us with 8 consecutive losses after we evened our record at 13-13. We're now 7.5 games out in the division, last place, and feeling like perhaps the smoke and mirrors that we've been keeping this thing together over the past few years with are finally broken, because hasn't been a good season thus far, but we're only 34 games into it. There's still time to straighten things out. Hopefully we can play much better over these last 3.5 weeks of May than we have over this first week. Be hard to play worse given that 0-6 start to the month. And we've been playing a bit better over the last couple of weeks since we checked in. We've taken 2 out of 3 against Dodgers here at home, so we've got an opportunity to take 3 out of 4 in that series, which would be a nice follow-up to also taking a series against the Brewers. 20 and 27, we're still in last place, so things not going well overall, even though we are playing a bit better. And we just lost our number one starter, Jesus Luzardo, with an oblique strain for the next 3 weeks. He's 4-2 with a 2.78 ERA this year, so he's been one of our better pitchers, and certainly not optimal to be losing him for the time being. And we did win the final game of the Dodgers series to take 3 out of 4 there. That said, we're still in last place, 8 games behind the Giants in the division. So things not going particularly well here with a 21 and 27 record. Chandler Simpson continues to lead the league in steals. He's the only player on the Rockies who is anywhere near the top of the leaderboards in the National League. Some good news and some bad news as far as the injury situation. Good news is that Braden Nett is healthy and ready to come back, so that'll give us another pitcher who very well might end up in the rotation with the injury to Luzardo and some other guys who have been ineffective. Unfortunately, Bo Bichette injured with a pending diagnosis on his back. He's hitting just .210 this year. He's been below replacement level. Could be looking to move on from him, although he's very popular, just not performing, and relatively expensive, and still has one guaranteed year ahead of him. A lot will depend on the injury, whether we look to do something sooner rather than later. If it's a significant injury, clearly won't be able to deal him anytime soon. And when Mr. Luzardo went on the IL, we moved Dre Jameson into the rotation. Now with Nett coming back, we're actually going to pull Aaron Ashby out. He's put up a 6.75 earned run average this year, 1-6 record. He's allowed 9 homers in 42 2/3 innings, and his control, after leading the league in walks allowed last year, remains an issue with 25 walks over 42 2/3 innings. $13 million team option next year on Mr. Ashby, which it's increasingly looking likely that we'll be moving on from him. And we continued to have mixed results over the end of the month of May. We swept 2 games at Seattle. But then we've lost 2 out of 3 to Pittsburgh and 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers on the road. So not feeling great about how things are going. Fortunately, Bo Bichette was not a serious injury, so he's still around for the time being and healthy. We have moved up to 4th in the division, but we're 8.5 behind the Giants. And at this point, we are 5 games out of a wild card spot. So our goal to make the playoffs for a 3rd straight year, not looking too great as we sit here on June 1st. Definitely hope that things will get better as we move over the next month. But felt like this team had gotten lucky the last couple of years. And even though we made some pretty significant additions this past offseason, feeling like we're kind of playing more the way that I'd expect we'd be playing, unfortunately. 12-16 record in the month of May. Our 25-31 record for the year is right where we're supposed to be. The offense has definitely been struggling. We're now 11th in the league in runs scored, and the pitching not great either. 11th in the National League in runs allowed. So not too much going right for the Rockies as we sit here on June 1st. Taking a look ahead to the month of June, I get an opportunity to face all of our divisional rivals in the month. Home against the Padres, at the Diamondbacks, home against the Giants, and then home against the Dodgers before finishing off on the road in San Diego on June 30th. I also got 7 games against the Mets in the middle of the month. And things going a bit better in the early stages of the month of June. Took two straight series at home, winning 2 out of 3 against the Nationals and then 2 out of 3 against the Padres. Also some good news as far as the injury situation. Jesus Luzardo ready to come back. Certainly could use him at the top of the rotation. Unfortunately, just when we were feeling good about the team, lost 3 in a row to Miami, and owner Mr. Monfort has changed his priority from win now to actually it wasn't from win now, but he changed. Yeah, I think he did change from win now to balanced. It was a pop-up that came up, but unfortunately I didn't keep it up before I started taping. But it seems like he's a little more realistic about what this team may be. I did feel like those back-to-back playoff seasons were a bit of a mirage. Certainly hoping with the changes we made that we can be more competitive than a .446 winning percentage this year, but we are closing in on the midway point of the season, certainly past Memorial Day on June 12th, and it's kind of a we are what our record says we are situation here in Colorado, unfortunately. And just finished another week with a decent week. Took 3 out of 4 at the Mets, although we did lose 2 out of 3 at Arizona. Back home now for a nice long homestand with 3 against the Mets, 4 against the Giants, and 3 against the Dodgers before we finish off the month on the road in San Diego. Hoping to get closer to 500 before the end of the month. Mr. Nieves was just named the National League Player of the Week, hit .320 with 4 homers and 7 ribbies. He has definitely been producing as we would have hoped. .297 average, 23 homers and 60 ribbies, closing in on the midway point of the season. 155 WRC plus and a 2.4 WAR. So he is certainly holding up his end of the bargain. But overall, we're a last place team, 8 games behind the the Giants in the NL West. Nieves now second in the league in homers, second in ribbies, and third in OPS. Chandler Simpson continues to lead the league in steals as we sit here on June 19th. And continue to have relatively mixed results. We took 2 out of 3 against the Mets, and then we lost 3 out of 4 home against San Francisco. Did take 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers, so at 38 and 44. We are at the midway point of the season. Things definitely not going as expected. He's angry with our performance this year. Disappointed in attendance, is pleased with some of the progress we're finally making with the farm system, and he says the coaching staff is still in bad shape. Hope we have a strategy to fix it. I don't know if that's actually accurate. Staff cohesion is content. I wouldn't say that that's bad shape, but I'm also not the one paying the bills, and it doesn't seem like Mr. Monfort is particularly excited with the way this season has been going, unfortunately. Can't claim that I'm particularly excited about it either. Positively, we do finally have a top 10 prospect, Jordan Contreras, who we picked up as an international free agent signing back in January, listed as one of the better prospects in all of baseball, although he is still at our international complex at this point. Probably will stay there this year, and then we'll call him up to the DSL next season. So we are right now a 500 team in June, have one final game in the month today against San Diego to hopefully get over 500 in a month for the first time this year. 38 and 44 record is one below expectations. The offense definitely struggling this year, 10th in the league in runs scored. But it seems like we may just be getting a bit unlucky there. We're 3rd in batting average, 1st in slugging percentage, 2nd in hits, 1st in extra base hits. On base percentage, admittedly, not that great. But Hopefully, the offense will be better going forward. Tied for ninth in runs allowed, starters ERA of sixth, bullpen ERA of eighth. The pitching has been improving a bit of late. Defensively, we're a pretty average team this year, which is a bit surprising given that we were pretty good defensively a year ago, and we haven't really changed all that much, particularly at the most important defensive positions. So can't claim that we're off to the type of start that we wanted to be here in 2028. We are third place in the division, 7.5 behind the Giants, 4.5 behind the Dodgers as we sit here on June 30th. 4.5 games out of the final wild card spot. Nieves now tied for the league lead in homers, leading the league in ribbies, and still third in OPS. Chandler Simpson still running away with the stolen base crown in the National League. None of our pitchers near the top of the leaderboards. Next time around, we'll do our full deep dive on how the players are performing this year, and we'll also sim ahead to the draft and see who some options for us to consider might be here in 2028. Until our next episode, thanks so much for watching, and hope you have a great day.